Hello guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to another quarantine podcast, and there's a bank holiday special today. Yes, I thought I'd just delay it by one day and record it today, as there's going to be 3 videos this week, so one today, one Wednesday and one Friday as well. Hope you enjoy them all, and yeah, today going to be the quarantine podcast number 9 and talking about some memorable moments over the years. So this one's talking about a lot of the things I've talked about over the last 9 episodes, and just collaborating what my best memories of the game are, and also the memories that I'd like to make maybe in the next few months, weeks, even days. Not 77 rune crafting, that's certainly not going to be a memory, but yeah, let's get right into it. Starting with the past then, so back in the 07, 08, 09, 10 years, the best memory I guess has got to be getting 99 fishing. Not really much of an achievement. I saw it as an achievement back then, and just that nostalgia of going to the fishing guild, getting rejected by the master fisher on first entry, and then eventually getting the level to go in, and then doing things like fishing sharks, and I had that obsession with like hand fishing, so I went to Fistiguthics, got some shark gloves, swordfish gloves. Just yeah, kind of tiny memories like that are all I've really got of RS3. I probably don't have as many memories as I'd like of the game, but I mean, I haven't looked at my account on it for ages. Perhaps if I did, that would jog it a little bit, but yeah, certainly 99 fishing on RuneScape 3. One of my best memories from the game overall, and I don't plan to replicate it in old school just yet. AFK Anglerfish is about as close as I'm going to get to that. Elsewhere in RuneScape 2 and 3, it's got to be Castle Wars and Soul Wars. Got to be the best memories. Playing those games for like 7 or 8 hours a day. Obviously not every day, but yeah. Soul Wars especially, I hope that maybe comes to old school if they can get it right and get the rewards right, because it was a really fun game. Unfortunately, it did get camped by bots quite a bit, but that wasn't. I mean, well, it wasn't a problem for us, but I guess for Jagex it was a problem. But Castle Wars 2, quite a fun game. Perhaps they could change it up a little bit, as I think maybe people in old school don't enjoy it as much. But it was certainly, I mean, the person who had Ancients just ruled Castle Wars. I remember you, before I'd done like Desert Treasure and all, I think, how was he able to freeze me for 20 seconds? But yeah, if you had Ancients, you could just absolutely destroy people in that game. And yeah, quite a cool kind of, a really simple idea, so like anybody can play it. All you've got to do is capture the flag and take it back to your area. And if you win, you get 2. If you lose, you get none. So a good sort of simple concept, and perhaps Castle Wars will be a bit more popular one day. 2 master quests next, Monkey Madness and Desert Treasure, probably my 2 favourite quests in the game, or certainly back then. Monkey Madness was the one I think I didn't really know about the Dragon Scimitar. I remember buying one from the Grand Exchange, trying to wield it, and then getting told that I couldn't, and then I had to do that massive series of like Tree Gnome Village, Grand Tree, and all the other quests, and then eventually Monkey Madness. I remember it took me like 4 or 5 days to complete it, because I just completed a bit and then went to school. And I was thinking at school all day about what I was supposed to do. I remember I died a few times and it lost a load of stuff, so I had to kind of restart, and I kept sort of thinking it took me like a week to eventually complete it, but when I did, and then wielding that Dragon Scimitar was something special, and I'm glad that they made a Monkey Madness 2 in old school, as I'll be talking about that a bit later. That was just as good, if not better. Another quest, obviously Desert Treasure. Watching a guide for that, I was really intimidated by, like, especially the bit where you have to kill Camel, walk up the ice climb, and it's really not that hard, of course we know, but back then, a bit more naive, thought that this stuff was a bit out of my league, a bit scary, but attempted it and succeeded, did the quest, and the Pyramid of Zandra at the end worried me a bit. I thought I might just get kicked out loads of times, but that's not kind of how it works. I think you fail in that pyramid like 3 or 4 times at the most before your RNG eventually is nice to you and allows you to get to there and get yourself some ancient magics, and then getting the ghostly roads and then casting that ice barrage. It's beautiful. I've talked more in previous videos about niche sort of things from the game, but those 3 things, or those 3 kind of categories, so quests, mini games, and then 99 fishing, they're probably the best memories I've got from RuneScape 2 and 3, other than the general nostalgia for that. So moving on to old school, some of the first things I did in the game, well, mining I got up first, and then eventually decided to get 99 for some reason. Don't ask me why, but I've done it now anyway, and I remember flexing the cape, flexing the untrimmed mining cape was pretty good. Early game stuff for me, not too much happened, I don't think. My barrage just number 5, I remember getting a DH plate, got really excited about that for some reason. I think that's one of the cool things about looking back, you see how much of like a noob you were and how you got excited over little things, but like that is kind of awesome too. Like, it's part of why we love the game, why we've played it for however many years. getting something for the first time sort of feels amazing in the game. Obviously, when you go back to barrows now and you're in maxed gear and you're doing 13 chests an hour, it's not quite the same, is it? But when you're more of a noob and doing 2 chests an hour, getting 1 banged by DH and then eventually pulling an item from the chest, that's very pleasing. Easy clues, very similar to, talked about them in one of the previous podcasts. Completed over 500 on the account, and yeah, the early game rewards were probably what got me started on the game, actually, because they were a lot more valuable back then. There was no grand exchange either, so you would have to stand in the rock and you'd have to trade them, and it sometimes wasn't fun, so a lot of people tried to scam you, but you'd also get decent money. Like, you could sell Zammy pages back then for about 600, 700k, and even rubbish items you can get from clues, like, I don't know, Bob shirts, they were going for like 100k, although I think they are a step on an elite clue, so they're going for a bit more now. But yeah, just kind of petty things like that. And easy clue scrolls and mediums too. Obviously got the hard clue with my Robin Hood hat. That was a good moment. Haven't got one since in 495 more clues. But you never know, it might strike again. Maybe clue number 501. Of course, there was a bit of a gap for me in old school. I think I played a lot during 2014 to 2016, and then 17 and 18, 19, and most of this year I didn't really play consistently at all, so not much happened. But probably getting the KVD pet, that was one of the best moments I've had on the game, and I've had a few more pets since then. Obviously the small Kano from Zalkano, that was a bit of a shock too, but using up my RNG, I've got the beaver pet, I remember too. I was just AFKing woodcutting and logged in, and yeah, you've got a funny feeling that you're being followed, and I'm like, no, I wish I could have used that RNG on the Dragon Warhammer hunt that I'm doing at the moment. Cheers for that, but it's another skilling pet. I want the mining pet, though, I have to say, but that's kind of the bad thing about getting 99 when I did. I didn't have a shot at getting the pet, so now I probably won't get it unless I go and camp mining for another 100 hours, which I don't have any plans to do, as I did that in 2014, 2015, and that was more than enough for me. Going back to quests, the game's had 3 master quests added, Dragon Slayer 2, Monkey Madness 2 and Song of the Elves, and I'll have to say completing all 3 of them is definitely one of my best memories at the moment, or much more recent memory of this game. Monkey Madness 2 was 2016, so about 4 years ago. 4 years ago, Jesus Christ, that quest does not feel 4 years old. Dragon Slayer 2 was 2018, Jan I think, so 2 and a bit years old, and then Song of the Elves 2019. July, and that's when Prifdanass came out too. As for the difficulty of each one, Dragon Slayer 2 was shorter, but it was a lot of PVM, so I struggled with all 3 of them. Surprisingly, I didn't really struggle with Galbeck at all. I only took 3 tries, I think, and 1 death, which was when I lagged out a little bit and got 1 banged by the fireball. But I did struggle with Vork and Robert Strong. Vork I remember doing with like a rune crossbow, and that was terrible. Like, I kill him now just for money with a blowpipe, and I can comfortably do 2 kills a trip, sometimes 3 if it goes really well. But then I was using a rune crossbow, and he only had, I mean, I didn't realise this before, Vork only had like 350 HP in the quest, whereas he's got like 750 the boss. So yeah, don't use a rune crossbow on Vorkar unless you're literally desperate. Use a blowpipe. MM2, you've obviously got Gluff at the end, and the Demonic Gorillas actually before aren't too easy if you're doing them for the first time. Gluff took me a few tries, and it's an instance too, so I did die a couple of times and losing my stuff, but I ended up doing the flinching method at the end, which yeah, I mean, I attempted it first and I just got melee to death by him, but then I did the flinching method. There's a video on my channel showing you how to do it if you're struggling with the quest, and I managed to get that one done. Song of the Elves, I was better stats then, but I didn't do the Fragment of Seren boss with very good gear for some reason. I was in pretty bad mage gear, but anyway, I just about managed to kill it. Very fun quest that. Follow up to Morning's End Part 2, which we all hate. But the puzzle in Song of the Elves is a lot more chilled. You don't get things attacking you all the time. And then the quest in general is like a fantastic story put together by Jagged. It's super long, but then the kind of the whole Elven series is like, you know, I want to study it a bit more in depth and sort of understand it a bit more. But so yeah, it's a great quest to finish that really long series. I think it goes Plague City, Biohazard, Underground Pass, Regicide, Roving Elves, Morning's End Part 1, Morning's End Part 2, and then Song of the Elves. So yeah, if you get a requirement that says complete Song of the Elves, then you've got a lot of work to do, let's just say. But yeah, fantastic quest. And there is another one coming to RuneScape, I think in about 10 days time, Dark Mare, and it's, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, actually let me just look it up now. New quest to RuneScape. Dark Mare, there's like that new place that's coming. Sins of the Father, yes, that's it. I'm sure I should be okay with that. I think it's only Master. It's not going to be any real tricky bosses like there is in DS2 and MM2. To finish, I'm just going to talk about my kind of switch to PVM recently. I've always been a bit intimidated by PVM, and I've just never really put the time into trying to learn mechanics of different bosses, and I've done a lot of that though recently. So I've learned Vorkar, I've learned Hydra, I've learned Zora, I've learned Sire. I've still got a few to do like Cerberus, but need to get Hellhound Task from Konar for that, which is not very likely. But yeah, making the switch has been quite hard at times. I mean, I've died quite. I always die on the game. Like, I just kind of laugh at most of my deaths though, because the death mechanics being you're pretty safe even if you die. But yeah, making that switch has been good to switch up how I play the game, because I was stuck to a lot of really simple stuff. And I plan to do a lot more bossing and try and get some of the best drops in the game. Maybe even attempt a raid in the future. I think raids would take me a long time to learn. I probably need someone to do it with, but then I could try and duo it with my brother. But yeah, I hope to make a lot of more memories in this game. And it's probably guided me pretty well through the last few months. I mean, being in quarantine, I haven't had a lot else to do as my degree's finished, and yeah, playing this game for however long per day, it's kept me interested, kept me sane. I've enjoyed it, and I plan to keep going for quite a while, I think, at this rate. Okay, that is going to be it for this podcast. So yeah, we just went back through some of my best memories of the game, so mainly from RS2 and 3. It's those quests, 99 fishing, and the mini games, some of which I hope come to old school maybe, or get buffed anyway. Old school, well, 99 mining, obviously, Robin Hood hat, the Ranger boots, some of the clue luck, and then yeah, more recently, just me attempting to kill some of the bosses. Like, yeah, learning Zora, that was not fun. I must have died about 10 times in my first 5 kills, but I think that happens to everyone. It's one of them bosses, like once you've learned the rotations of it, it does become very straightforward, and it's even quite relaxing. Like, Vork's not really that relaxing to kill, whereas Zora is. But yeah, hope to make a load more memories in this game, and yeah, you never quit RuneScape. I think that's probably what the last 13 years have taught me. You do not quit this game, you just take breaks. But anyway, hope you guys are doing very well wherever you are. As I said, a couple more videos to come out this week, progress video on Wednesday, and then a loot video to come out on Friday, as well as podcast number 10 next Sunday, or no, that'll be Sunday, like today's a bank holiday, so it's an exception. But anyway, take care guys, and I will see you in the next video.